Gus, wake up. Say, hey, Gus. Everybody, it's Alan and Gus again. I wanted to talk just for a few minutes about just whatever comes to mind, uh, but about words, what words actually are. That is the sounds we make. Out of all the creatures there are, dogs bark, uh, lions roar, frogs make noises, insects make noises, birds make all kinds of different noises to communicate. Out of all the creatures, out of all of God's creation, and if actually, I believe that even plants make certain sounds at different frequency or whatever. Imagine that there's something us humans can't hear. Uh, but out of all the creatures, out of all of God's creation that has been made, humans are the only ones that take the sounds that they make and put deception behind them. And I don't that can actually conjure up deceit because words are just the sounds that we make. It's That's pretty obvious. And if we attach meaning to them, it's up to the interpreter that hears the word to attach the meaning. If Here's a way to think about it. If you take say everything in reality is exactly the same except for one. Let's switch up some more, just a couple of words. Let's switch the word cigarette with the word vitamin. So pretend everything in reality is exactly the same except for when you break time comes at work, you go outside to smoke a vitamin, and you take cigarettes with each meal as part of your health routine. Think about that. It's a funny way to switch the sounds up, but is anything changed whatsoever besides just the sound that's being made and the interpretation that's given to it? And or just take a word. For example, like the word body or love or a name or something, and just say it over and over to yourself for a few moments. And any human can do this, and they'll realize, oh, that's an interesting sound I'm making, because after a very short time, it'll lose its meaning. So we're the only creatures that have the ability. Well, I don't want to say or the ability and utilize the word for deceit, and also use it to separate things, because separation isn't good, like Jesus. Well, I don't say good or bad. In the Bible, Jesus, as he speaks, we're all one, and that phrase is easy to say, and lots of people use it. Some people might understand what it means or doesn't mean or not, but it's like this: if you or if I ask you to show me the difference between a rock and a tree, but don't use any words, the only thing you can do is point point towards one of them, or pick up the rock and hold it next to the tree, and at that point you're just, yeah, I mean, it's like there's no difference. See, you have to have words before there's any difference. There's no Everything is connected in this way. When the first disconnection that can happen is for one to think that they're different. I know, Gus, is to think that there's a difference in anything. There's either the word and truth or not. Like a lot of preachers say when they talk about the word and this and that, and they assign it to a certain set of words found in a book. Which again, I'll never leave the false prophets and hypocrites and preachers alone. It's just so easy. They make it so easy, you know. But I think the word period. Without the word, you don't have anything. Think about what's the most powerful tool that mankind has that they can use to control others with. Some might say, "Oh, it's money," which it can be used powerful. Whether to get people to do things for you. Some might say, a firearm or a knife, threatening people. That's the most powerful tool. None of those compare what in the least to the power of the word, because you can have a stack of money sitting on a bed in a hotel room, and without, say you're trying to make a deal with someone who doesn't speak the same language as you. You're wanting to get them to do anything for you, to build a something, or to commit some type of a crime for you, or something like that. uh, what do you have to have first if you're trying to make a deal with someone who doesn't speak the same language as you? An interpreter, to clarify what's to, so you have to have the word has to be able to be used properly first, because if you don't, all you can do is point at the money, whether it's on a table or on a bed. And if you want them to do something crooked for you, you have to point at the money and then, show a picture and do this. It's so ridiculous. If you want to play lawyer talk, yeah, there's ways around it, but the word is the most powerful thing that humans have to control one another with. And furthermore, if somebody comes and is trying to threaten you, threats come in the form of words. You have to have words. Words. And the Bible says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." It's lovely church talk right there. Said it again. I always say I'm a big fan of the Bible, and I love the idea of Jesus. I think he's a real person, and the character of him, I think, carries on. But I'll repeat myself again. I'll never not give these hypocrites and false prophets a hard time, because something as basic as the word, because that's the very first initiation of separation. When that there can be is the idea of it, because nothing is separate. I think if the word's used in truth, it's this is so easy to say, and it's such a simple thing. If people would just be honest, how much better of a place the world will be. It would actually be the paradise that God made it to be. And but instead, their egos swell up and they want to talk about what happens after you die instead of what's going on right now. Another dig on the preachers and stuff. And there's good people out there. I listen. I'll talk about that a different time. It's hard to find, because most people are in it for the wrong reasons. But like Jesus said often, talking about the word that you speak, the sounds that we make, you have the ability to use it honestly or dishonestly. As far as separation goes, I'll move over. I bounce around a lot. Sorry. Uh, the sun. There's no separation. Here's another way to show the togetherness of everything. Or okay, let me take the sun for example. If it's a cloudy day, or you're on the other side of, no matter, if you have sight whatsoever, you can thank the sun for that. If it's cloudy, if you're inside a building, if you're in a shack somewhere out in the woods, it doesn't matter. Anything that you see, if it's daylight or moonlight, unless you just have your eyes closed, then without the sun, of course, there'd be nothing that there is whatsoever. So everything, the sun is touching everything. Everything's a reflection. um to add on to that, all of our senses, like touch isn't just feel, like I can feel the ground, or touch something that's hot or what have you. I mean, that might be so, but also if I hear a noise, like if I hear a train coming, from a mile down the road, hasn't one of my senses and that train become one touched? It's touched my ears. Or if I smell someone cooking something down the street, in that haven't I touched that somehow? Just because I haven't seen it, walked up to it and put my finger on it, or stuck it in my mouth to eat it, doesn't mean that I haven't touched it. There's a far more of a connection here in this reality than people acknowledge or even realize. And it's because the engraved images of words in the mind, and about what something means. Um, bear with me. Yeah, it's the only separation that there can be. Like I mentioned, if you show me the difference between two people, you can't show me. You can only point at, or show me the difference, like I said, between a rock and a tree, or a leaf and a plastic bottle. Anything. All you can do is hold them up side by side. But until the word comes out, there's no difference in them. You're just standing around, pointing or whatever. And you can say, "Well, I write it down." What do you write it in? Words? So words gives us the ability to think that we're separate. And I think people ought to, uh, well, I don't know, I don't tell people what they ought to or not to, but that's something that I think people ought to consider. Hey, guys, uh, is things like that, because there's a base reality that I think that, in particular, the ideals of religion and stuff has just run amok. Not the base reality, but the human spirit that goes around, and the separateness and division that's been caused. But yeah, again, on try to keep this video somewhat short. If I go over 10 minutes, man, it take a long time to upload. Uh, just, take any word or a name or something and say it repetitively to yourself, and you'll realize it's a funny sound. It's a strange sensation, but anybody can do this. And if they say they don't get it, there's a lot of hung up people out there. It's yeah, just something to consider. I'll make more videos. I think that's about it. I could go on and on, but again, I want to keep the video short. Try to be nice to one another, and remember, words are just sounds that we make. There is a reality there. You know, last thing, real quick. Engraved images. It's spoken of in the Bible as a big thing that's going to cause a lot of problems, and I don't believe that's a carving in a stone or something engraved into wood or something. It's when you grasp. It's the word clinging to it, not you know. Uh, yeah, I might make a part 2 or a part 10. Who knows? Thanks for watching, everybody, and try to be nice to one another. Say bye, guys. Okay. All right. Everybody, take care.